All right, so I'm going to jump right into this webinar slash broadcast slash we just want to give you awesome information to make your group fitness career take it to the next level or just whatever. We're just here to share. So my name is Cole Hansen Whitty, and I was Beachbody's first ever instructor of the year, which was awesome. And today I have Jessica, who is a master trainer for Beachbody. And Jessica is nationally certified in group fitness. She's a master trainer for Beachbody, awesome wife, killer mom. She's a high school teacher. Just like her students, she believes that with the right type of inspiration, anyone can become successful and leave a positive mark on the world. Her passion to help motivate others, regardless of their starting point, has made her really respected, trusted, and she's a coach, super fun instructor, a mentor, and a killer friend. So thank you so much, Jessica, for coming on here to share your tips.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to be here.
So where are you located?
So I'm actually in Los Lunas, New Mexico, which is just south of Albuquerque, so central New Mexico.
Nice. Fantastic. That way, in case anyone that's watching the webcast wants to attend training or a class or anything, they can find you. And you currently are trained in PiYo, Size, Turbo, Insanity, P90X, and Country Heat.
Correct. And I'm excited to get quarter force with everybody else. I'm right on the train.
Nice. Yeah, it looks fun. I love to see any new formats. So, let's get to it and talk about the 5 tips or tricks or strategies that you have come to use and also recommend to your instructors to help boost their attendance in the summertime and get them ready for fall.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been an instructor for going on 8 years now, and one of my primary locations is on base. So I see a lot of turnover, and I've tried to kind of come up with these ideas of what I can do to help my members, current members, kind of spread the word a little bit and bring new members in, because I feel like I'm always in that summer slump regardless of what time of year it is. Yeah, but I do see at my other gyms, that I have to kind of employ a lot of the same strategies right around this time because the weather is getting nicer and people do want to go outside and they want to go hiking and all these things. So I can tell you that the number one tip that I can give any instructor is to focus on the people that you do have. Member loyalty is absolutely key. You have to show them that they are there for a reason. So you can't always be thinking beyond the classroom. Just like anytime that you have 1 or 2 people show up, you can't sit there and say, well, where is everybody? Because 2 people took the time to show up, right? Okay. So you want to actually reward them for showing up. So what I really like to do is I like to put together challenge giveaways is what I like to call them. So we have like class passes essentially, so you can actually sit there and say, okay, well, how many times have you come to class, have a punch card? I'm a little bit extra, so I let them take that punch card to other gyms too, so they get brownie points if they can go to other locations. Yeah, exactly. I mean, spread the word, right? And so for every time they go to a class, they get an entry. For every time they bring a new friend, they get double entries. And then at the end of the summer, at the end of the 2 months or whatever set time that you have for them, I do a giveaway for a gift basket. And these gift baskets can have anything in them from basic fitness stuff like yoga socks and water bottles or things like that to actual fun stuff. So we have movie passes. We have a really cool brew house / movie theater here. So start putting stuff like that in there, or water park passes. So anything that you can do to get people excited, something that they don't have to spend money on, but something that makes them proud of coming. So that's definitely my number one tip, is to award the people that show up. And then I think, yeah, absolutely. And, I think that if I'm moving on a little bit, the next thing is obviously to start increasing your class size. So you want to think about new and innovative ways to bring new people in. That can be a little bit tricky for instructors, I think, because a lot of times we try to make it me-centered. So we go out there and we say, well, this if you come to my class, but they don't really see the benefit of coming to the class? Right. So I think that if you can find a way to involve the community in a no fear sort of way, you don't make it about fitness necessarily. So something that I actually took from another instructor friend of mine is to have fitness fundraisers. So you get involved in the community, you get your face out there, but you actually do it for a cause. You do it for a purpose, something that grows your community in a positive way outside of fitness. And then, of course, you take the time while they're there to promote while you're there. So, you have fun with them, you interact, and then you say, hey, if you guys are interested in attending more classes like this, here's my schedule. I have a really good photographer friend, so I like to invite her out to that stuff. Just take some fundraiser PR photos, but those are photos that you can use later as well. And then, of course, you can always go a little bit above and beyond and network with your local paper, your radio station, or whatever too, because it's not about you. It's about whatever you're fundraising for.
Right.
You have to be really good about actually fundraising for that thing. So don't, take the money and run. But, it's cool to kind of say, like, at the end, if you are writing one big check to whatever that is, Make-A-Wish Foundation. Make-A-Wish Foundation, it's got your name on it, but on the little memo, say fitness fundraiser, whatever, and take that photo and post that on your social media too, because then it makes people feel like, hey, I was totally involved in this. This was a really big event, and it's exciting.
Well, and there's, like you had mentioned, when it's not so focused on you, and at fundraising events, there's twofold. First of all, you get to raise money for an awesome cause. And secondly, you're connecting with people that actively do something. They believe in something. And so they're typically in more of a heart space to be able to connect and maybe be open to other possibilities because there's some common thread for you to start talking about it.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that kind of bumps into what I think is the third most important thing, and that is just networking. And within networking, there's a lot of different things that you can do. But one of those things is to work with other instructors. So when I'm talking about these fitness fundraisers, I'm not thinking, just my format and just my class. Why don't you invite other instructors out too and hold like a super class? Beachbody works really well, especially if you're doing the dance classes with something like Zumba or mixed fit, just to get other instructors involved, but also to kind of cross advertise each other. And that kind of goes into attending other classes at your gym or outside of your gym. Hey, I go to a cycle class, and you talk to that instructor and you tell them, yeah, well, you know what? I really thought that this would help kind of cross over to what I do on my own and help complement my own workout. And you talk to the members about how it complements your current workout and invite them to your class. And it's really that simple, just to go ahead and network out by attending other classes, inviting other instructors as well.
So I love that you said it's so simple, because you actually train instructors or, people to be instructors in different formats. And I know that you get first timers. So, for people experience, it's like, it's so easy. And for them, it's the most horrifying idea to put themselves out there and be rejected. So what advice do you have to these instructors when you work with them?
Well, I think that a lot of it is just about honesty, to be honest with you. So part of it is, hey, you know what? This is one of my first classes. I totally appreciate you being here. Or if you're attending another instructor's class, I wanted to kind of learn from somebody who has a little bit of a following. And so I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit, see what you're doing, see if you wouldn't mind coming to one of my classes. There's that networking again. See if you wouldn't mind coming to one of my classes, maybe bringing a couple of your people, giving me some feedback, and then that kind of continues that relationship as well. But it does help you feel confident in saying, well, this is my first time. People are aware, or that I'm relatively new. People are aware, and they're here to give me that positive feedback. I want to be the best that I can be. And then thanking them at the end, of course.
Absolutely. I think that you make a really good point, the thanking, because when someone comes to you asking for help, if they just come and basically take all of this from you and just kind of like peace out, never talk to you again, it's like, wow, I don't feel very valuable. But on the flip side of that, I know that with people that I've helped, because I was we were all a first-time instructor at some point. I know the fear, and I'm sure you understand the fear. But when someone will really thank you and do the work, there's nothing more rewarding, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's important to remember as instructors too, that even if you're moving to a new location and you've been teaching for years, so I mentioned to you, I've been doing this almost 9 years. I just started at a new gym a month ago, so building those classes back up is still terrifying. I still feel like I have to prove myself. And we have to remember that. We have to remember that no matter our experience, we are always relying on other people. So we do have to thank and invite and promote in different ways that are unique. But moreover than anything is just to be grateful for the people who do come, and tell them,
Sure.
hey, tell a friend. Hopefully we all have fun together. So I think that that's super important.
So how do you navigate that fear? Because you just said you still get it. So how do you navigate past it, or how navigate with it, or integrate it, or whatever?
With a smile and with a lot of laughter. No, really, I do. One of the biggest things that I do is I really strive to build a rapport with the people who come. And so I make sure that I get to know them outside of the class. And that means showing up early and staying a little bit late sometimes, and finding one or two things out about them, or becoming friends with them on social and asking how their kid is doing or how the baseball game went or whatever it is. But I think that there's no real way to navigate past the fear other than just to build a relationship.
Right. Perfect. I mean, I'm a firm believer in that as well. If I hadn't said it already, I have a cold, so I'll be trying not to hack into the microphone. We'll just carry on as if it's not happening. But so what is the next thing? So you just talked about some of those networking opportunities.
Right. So continuing on networking, there are other ways that you can do that. So you can actually go out to local businesses and ask them if they are willing to build a partnership with you. So something that I'm currently working on right now is kind of like a pints and planks type thing, So you go to somewhere that has the space. Of course, you want them to have the space, and say that you hold a class there. You hold your regular hour-long class, but whoever attends that class maybe will get some sort of coupon for whatever service it is that that place is doing, right? So what it does is it actually allows you to find a new location, to keep current members excited, to get new members excited, but it also brings that business new clientele. So,
Sure.
Anyone is willing to try something when they get a little bit of a discount. So trying to do something like that regularly, or kind of rotate around somewhere every quarter that has like a special deal, is extremely important. The other cool thing that does is it allows you to actually advertise your classes in a different way than what you yourself are able to do, because that whatever their locations are advertising, because it behooves them to get people in, because they're going to make money as well.
For sure. That's great. And what kind, like, you just said like the planks and pints, which I love. I think that, we can get so caught up in the health and fitness industry that of like, oh, well, I can't, I shouldn't do that, or something's not as healthy. The fact of the matter is you just want people coming to do something. Something is better than nothing. And so often people get wrapped up in the all or nothing, and life isn't all or nothing. And when it is, then it's usually like a house of cards that's just waiting to come crashing down.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think especially as fitness professionals, we have to remind people that it's important to kind of play 80-20 all the time. You can't be 100% at fitness. You can't be 100% at nutrition without sacrificing something. And I think that in order for people, especially people who are newer to fitness, in order for them to feel like they're enjoying it and to want to come back, there has to be a little bit of a giveaway. As an instructors, if they feel like we're judging them at all times, I think that it kind of decreases that relationship that I was talking about. So, it's okay sometimes to like have a chocolate, like mini chocolate bar, not a big one, but like, hey, first person to come to class on Friday is going to get a prize from me, and it's like a chocolate bar. It's not anything special, but it's something, and you make them wait until the end of class, that way they feel like they've earned that. But I absolutely think that it's perfectly fine to get them outside and get them experiencing other things, but to tell them that it's a way to reward themselves, and help foster building that relationship too. Because like if you're doing a pints and plank type thing, cool. So we just had a really great pile workout, and now we can all sit around and have a drink. And then that goes back to that building the relationship. I get to know more about you. I get to hang out. And so it's just a different environment. It's a lot of fun.
Well, and part of it is also putting into play the idea of like a drink, not a night of drinking. There's a
Correct. And I think
difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So they get one drink coupon if they come.
Right. I mean, that is when you, just like you said with the 80-20 rule, it is not possible to have your home life perfect and your fitness life and your nutrition and all of that at one time 100%. Like, it doesn't work. If your fitness is on point, then your home life is usually suffering because you're spending more time at the gym, or your relationship is compromised in some kind of way, or vice versa. You get so busy with the kids, with family, that your nutrition is terrible and you're not getting any sort of activity. When
Absolutely.
really, at the end of the day, the movement is the most important part, just to release that stress and honestly to get out and connect with people in a class and creating a community.
Absolutely. And I think too, just going back to that a little bit, you always hear about these fitness professionals who have their cheat days. Well, I think it's important in anything in your life to have a little bit of a cheat day. You know what? It's okay to take an hour of a day to go out and take some time for yourself. You know, it's okay to go to the gym. It's okay for you to say, like, I'm going to put work aside. So I'm a teacher in my other life, right? I'm going to put work aside for a while because I'm going to spend some time with my daughter. You have to cheat in every kind of aspect of your life in order to truly be happy and fulfilled. So I think that goes into fitness as well. And we have to foster that too, foster this sense of wellness holistically.
Well, and you bring up a really good point as far as with instructors, we really do have to be the example. You need to be able to do that self-care as well, spending time with your family. That's key, is to show people there's something to model after so they know what it looks like.
Absolutely.
Well, I love that. I mean, we pretty much covered it. You talked about flash mobs and business opportunities. What else?
Well, yeah, and actually I didn't talk about the flash mob, and that was probably my favorite one. Yeah, no, that one, I think that there was like this real big season a couple of years ago where there was all of this flash mobbing happening, you know, really intricate dances. And we forget that in fitness, we can do that too, you know, especially with our Beachbody formats, because so many of our formats are driven by the music that why not go out there and sit at the middle of the fountain where they have the music playing and do a PIO section? Why not go to a country bar or to a country concert over the summer and start popping out some country heat? You know, what is wrong with that? I think that is so much fun. I'm actually really looking forward to doing that this summer at Brad Paisley. And I think that that's just another way, again, to involve not only your existing people, because then they start to take ownership of their classes and feel like they're a part of something. So, hey guys, I'm going to Brad Paisley. Are you going? Awesome. Why don't we meet up and hang out? We'll all sit on the lawn together, and then we hear a good song and I get up and I start doing it. They already know what they're doing. They're going to get up and they're going to start doing it too. And then people are going to be looking at them and saying, oh, okay, I'm going to follow along. I don't really know what's going on. And then you go around, hey, I'm so-and-so, you know, we actually do this, believe it or not, for fun on a regular basis. You can come out and try it sometime. So.
Perfect. Yeah, last summer was my first time participating in a flash mob, and it was at Summit, Beachbody Summit. And I decided to do a flash mob because 2 years ago I said I had never danced. I wouldn't dance. It's just not who I am. I'm not a dancer. And so it was kind of like the next threshold after doing size, then like putting myself in a position where I'm at the front, which is like the worst case scenario for me 2 years ago. And it was one of the most exhilarating experiences. And we had a solid probably 40 people in the flash mob. Like, it was a nice size. And I have to tell you, you're absolutely right with that flash mob thing. It's pretty exciting and intense. And you kind of feel like you're going to puke because, I don't know, you know, what can really go wrong? You know, right. These sensationalized ideas we create, it's like, you'll be fine.
Right. Absolutely. But I think that is probably one of my favorite things to do. So absolutely. I just think, you know, encouraging your people to, that flash mob at Summit was fun. I'm glad you had fun, Marie. Yeah, encouraging your current members to take ownership of things, rewarding them for being there, asking them to bring in friends to help those friends, you know, expand on their personal goals. And it doesn't need to be fitness goals. Maybe it is just releasing the stress, but definitely building relationships. So building relationships with your people, building relationships with your community, building relationships with businesses. And that's what's going to take your classes to the next level. And ultimately, when you're looking
Oh, we're getting a little glitchy.
Oh, sorry.
Here we go. Okay, I was just gonna message you. We got a little glitchy for a second. That's the beauty of technology. Okay. But now we're good. So basically, when you were doing like closing remarks, the epic moment, then technology was just like,
of course. But it does. And I'll just leave you guys with that. I'll just say, building those relationships does take your classes to the next level, and it makes people want to come back regardless of what's outside. And if, I'll give you a little bonus. If all else fails, take them outside. Have fun outside.
Well, and you briefly touched on it a moment ago that not everyone's there to lose weight. Like you kind of touched on that idea. Excuse me, that honoring that everyone's on a different journey in this. They're showing up for different reasons. It might be the only hour a week that they get that's theirs. So us not judging them if they're not working hard enough or whatever, you don't actually know what's going on in the background. That for them, they didn't come out to burn 600 calories. They came because they needed to do something for themselves, or they're at the beginning of a journey. And mentally, this is a lot for them, or emotionally, this is a lot for them. So I liked that because you did touch on that briefly. And it's something that I'm a huge believer in, that some people come to my insanity classes and they're not going to be doing star jumps. Like, even if I know they could. It could be just a mental block of fear or whatever. And at some point, there's a time to push people, but you don't do that until you know them. And so getting to know and building that rapport, like you talked about, is when you can start to push people, is when you can really tell, hey, they look like they've kind of had a rough day. I'm not going to push them today. Because you can tell if you pay attention.
Absolutely. Or you take advantage of it. Like in Turbo Kick, I like to tell people, it's, punch whatever it was that was in your way today. So, but you help them through those. That's your goal, is just to help people get to wherever they need to be, however that is.
Awesome. Well, we actually talked about a lot of stuff for such a short amount of time. I don't know if you just want to do like a recap with a short description for anyone that's just tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, kind of my top 5 favorite things to do are, first of all, to reward loyalty to your current members. So things like gift baskets for the most classes attended. Secondly, I would say that you want to invite new people, and you can do things like fitness fundraisers. That way you don't make it about you, you make it about your community while spreading your excitement for your class. And then third is just to network. And so that does kind of go back to the fitness fund, networking with other businesses to find new locations, with other instructors, so you attend other classes and they attend yours, and with other events in your community, things like flash mobbing, not mopping.
It could be mopping.
Whatever. Or, just participating in other community events. So loyalty, new people, networking.
I love it. Well, I don't know. The cough, of course. Does anyone have any questions? I know we've only got a couple in here, but if you guys have any questions for Jessica, ask now. And for anyone that's tuning in to this afterwards, well, I guess if they're hearing it now, they already found the link. So that doesn't even make any sense. But we are going to do a replay of this episode. You just need to be on the email list. So if you want to share this at some point for the people that are watching, I'm going to keep it up live for 24 hours here on the Facebook page. After that, you have to join the email list, which is just at groupx.fitness. The timing, self-care, working on it. So if you go to groupx.fitness, you will stay up to date on each episode every week. And also the podcast is going to go live at the end of the month. So if you miss one of these, you'll get to hear it again. All right. Well, if we don't have any questions, this cough. So sorry, guys. One more time. If there aren't any questions, then I'll just wrap up by saying thank you, Jessica, so much. If you can let people know where to find you.
Oh, there's a random question right there. Is it all right to give gifts if you're at 24-hour fitness? Obviously, you want to check with your gym, but typically they don't have any issues with gift baskets as long as you're not trying to promote other gyms is what I find. But if it's stuff that you might even ask them to help sponsor the basket a little bit. So they might put stuff that is 24-hour fitness specific in the gift basket, and then you don't have that problem. But definitely check with whoever your Group X manager is. And then I'll cover what Cole was saying. So if you're looking for me, you can find me on Facebook, /ShowFitJess, SHOWFIT Jess, so ShowFitJess, and come join me sometime. If you are looking for any trainings upcoming, I am located in New Mexico, so I will be in Las Cruces next week with Turbo Kick, and then we have a couple trainings coming up for Pio and Albuquerque. We have Size coming up in Phoenix. I do travel a little bit as well. And then we have a couple events too in the Lubbock, Odessa area. So just follow me, ShowFitJess, anywhere on Facebook or any other form of social media for that matter. You'll find me. And I'm happy to connect you, even if it's not with one of my trainings, with one of my Master Trainer family members. Yes, feel better, Cole.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I've been trying to mute it periodically. Yeah, and just to wrap up with what you said, as far as gifts, just ask the gym, because sometimes if you're a Beachbody coach, they can be really weird about any sort of supplements if they sell or have certain kinds of contracts. So you do want to be clear so you're not stepping on anyone's toes or upsetting someone. But the best thing you can do is just ask and team up on it in some way. Maybe some other offering, or they'll throw in some energy drinks or, whatever. So yeah. Thank you so much, Jessica, for your time. I know that you gave some really good information and tools to get people thinking on what they can do in their communities. Guys, there's so many activities going on in the summertime, and fairs and festivals. I know, Jessica, we didn't talk about it in this episode, but you've also talked about playing before an event or doing a flash mob. Or this cough's terrible. All right. We'll talk about that in another episode. I've been eating these like they're candy, people. All right. I need to go. Thank you so much.
Of course. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what else you do. And we'll bring you back at some point and give some more awesome tips for instructors.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.